Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of Her Messy Bun. Today is such an exciting episode, but before I get into how to prep for time off as a solo entrepreneur, I wanted to share some updates with you because so much has been happening. So last week was a private pod episode called Is Imposter Syndrome Holding You Back? Where I shared the different kinds of limiting beliefs we face when it comes to showing up and how to get past them. So if you don't know, private pods are exclusive episodes for consciously creative members. Once a month, I make one of my podcast episodes available only for members. It's my way of spoiling them because without my members, this podcast would not be able to exist. And during that time, I also share an episode on YouTube of a Do Morning Pages with me. So if you are unable to gain access to the private pod, then you can also that same day go to YouTube and check out the Work With Me, Morning Pages Work With Me. And so what that is it's pretty much the time where I look back at my last month's prompts and figure out which one was the most beneficial for the members, and I share it with you guys. If you do want access to the private pod, check out hermessybun.com/membership and join my consciously creative community. That link will take you directly to the membership information page, and it'll break down everything that's offered within the membership. It's not just private pod. It's not just morning pages. It's so much more than that. And if you are a creative entrepreneur, you will benefit from it extremely. The second big thing that I want to share with you is that behind the scenes, I have been working my ass off to get the podcast turned into blog posts and added to my website. And as of now, season 1 and 2 are ready for viewing. Season 3 will be live, and I'm going to be dropping an episode every single Wednesday. So I have about 10 episodes prepped for that. These blog posts are going to take the podcast to the next level. Between having all the goods from the podcast, I also include extra freebies, quotes, images, and resources about each episode topic, and you can listen to the podcast directly from the website. And then finally, the last thing before I get into today's episode that I want to share with you is, as some of you might know, I have been working on making kick-ass templates to help you organize your business, get clear on what you offer, and work around an intuitive work schedule. These templates will be dropping this week. So if you are not a part of my email list, pause this episode right now and go sign up, because my email list will not only get first dibs, but they will also receive exclusive and limited discounts on every template that drops from here on out. Like I said, exclusive and limited discounts for every template that drops from here on out. And these templates are already discounted formats of what I offer during my one-on-ones. My goal behind these templates is to create guided sessions with you that allow you to get all of the benefits of working with me one-on-one, but at a lower price point. So while we might not be working one-on-one together, you won't be able to get your questions answered directly. It will be a guided session on every single template. So I've created videos to walk you through every single template so you don't have questions. It's just already there. I mean, I don't know how much better that can get. I'm just saying. I will toot my own horn on that one, because I am so proud of these templates, you guys. They are tried and true over the last year and a half. I have been creating them behind the scenes, working with beta testers. I have been using them myself. And on top of it, it is like information packed to help you create more intuitive space for yourself, help you grow your creative mindset, as well as create a badass brand strategy for yourself. Okay, that's it for the updates. Let's get into learning how to take time off as a solo entrepreneur. So prepping for time off can feel overwhelming and intimidating, especially when you don't know what to expect. When you are self-employed, it can feel like you're letting your business, clients, or customers down when you take time off, even if it's only for an extra day. And before I continue, I want to remind you that is not true. As someone who regularly takes time off of work and am currently prepping for maternity leave, I thought what better time to help you prep for time off than right now. Whether you are prepping for a long weekend, vacation, maternity leave, these tips are my go-to for taking time off and trusting that my business is still going to make money. So let's go over the 8 major questions that I ask myself that you can also ask yourself when taking time off. So the first one is, how long are you going to be away? Next, ask yourself, what would usually happen during that time if you weren't taking time off? And then, what's your consistency going to look like? Once you know that, you can ask yourself, what's your financial goal? What's your awareness goal? Are you still planning on showing up on social media? If so, what social platforms will you be focusing on? What emails go out regularly that you can prep ahead of time? These are the same questions I ask myself every single time, whether I'm taking a day off, a week off, or an entire month off. And there are so many more questions that you can ask yourself, but these are my top 8 because within it, I feel like I can then break down even more questions or more questions then come up. But like I said, these are the main ones I like to ask myself to kickstart my brainstorming for what needs to get done before I take any time off. So let's take these questions to the next step, because I don't want to just leave you with questions. I want to actually break down what each question looks like. Oh, one of my crystals just fell. Scared me a little bit. But I want to break down what these questions look like and how I brainstorm within them. So the first question is, how long are you going to be away? If you're only planning on being away for one day, my biggest piece of advice is to ask yourself, is there anything that I need to get to a client that needs to get to a client, customer, or in order for a launch or done in order for a launch to happen with this extra day off? If the answer is no, if you have absolutely no worries coming up, then take the day off. Don't worry about prepping for anything. Just literally take the day off. The only thing that you have to prep is make sure that your calendar, if you take one-on-ones or sessions at all, is closed. If you're going to be gone for an entire week, then you need to continue with the next question. So the next question is, what would usually happen during that time you aren't taking time off? So if you were taking a week off, what would usually happen during that week? If you were taking a month off, what would that look like, etc.? This question is geared towards the big projects first. For instance, every week I put out one new Her Messy Bun podcast episode, which includes an email, a YouTube video, and adding it to anchor.fm. I also make sure that I post 5 to 7 times on TikTok for awareness and growth. And recently I've been posting on Pinterest 5 to 7 times a week as well. And then, as I told you in the beginning of today's episode, I will also be scheduling out blog posts every Wednesday, which will also include an email. As for my membership, I do daily morning pages and the other key components like group coaching, private pods, educational videos are all spread out throughout the month. While this sounds like a lot of work to quote unquote miss, a lot of it can be scheduled ahead of time, and almost all of it can be created ahead of time that I can then just open up, copy and paste, and post it. Now that we have the breakdown of what an average week looks like, before going ahead and starting to create more work for myself or for yourself, you need to ask yourself, what kind of consistency do you want during your time off? Basically, you need to know if you want to prep for the bare minimum or if you want your audience to feel like you're still actively working. Once you know this, you can figure out the following questions. So for instance, what I just listed was a combination of the bare minimum that I do mixed with the big projects that I provide for everybody. So if I wanted to do the bare minimum, it would be the podcast episode, the blog post episode, and a few TikToks and a few Pinterest posts. If I wanted to go above and beyond and make sure it looked like I was not taking any time off, it would be even more TikTok posts, even more Pinterest scheduled, and even more Instagram stuff. So the following questions that you need to know now that you know your consistency is, what's your financial goal? Realistically, what kind of income do you expect to see during this time? Are you prepped for passive income? If so, are you set up? Is it set up to be evergreen? Do you have reoccurring income that you rely on? If you offer one-on-one services or physical products, is it clear that there will be a delay in product and services received? Meaning, if you have a one-on-one coaching service that can be booked at any time, is your calendar schedule blocked off? If you have physical product, do you have a delay in shipping, or is your store just completely closed? These are the things that you need to have prepped in order to avoid requests for refunds or cancellations. This way, you can still receive income without worrying about delays or refunds or cancellations. The next question is, what's your awareness goal? If your goal is to increase your brand awareness, is your SEO set up for that? Have you updated it? Do you have posts scheduled for Pinterest? Because we all know Pinterest is the #1 awareness site besides Google. Are your email series updated and optimized? Awareness is the first step in your client journey. So if you want that to grow, if you want your awareness to grow while you're on vacation, then your lead magnets and email series need to be on top of their game. And if you don't know what those are, go ahead and check out the past episode. I believe it's titled How to Grow Your Email List. It talks all about lead magnets and growing your email list. And you can learn a lot from it of what I'm talking about right now in that episode. So while we're on the topic of awareness, the following questions are the questions you need to think about. Are you planning on showing up on social media still? If so, what social platforms will be your focus? What emails go out regularly that you can prep ahead of time? These answers will depend on what kind of time off you're looking for. And if your plan is to showcase your vacation throughout the entire time you're on vacation, or what you're doing while you're quote unquote off the clock, then maybe adding to your stories is a good idea and keeping it at stories only for social media, because then it keeps you connected with your audience, but also you don't have, like, that would be your bare minimum step. If your plan is to keep everyone in the loop on your vacation, time off, or maternity leave, what kind of content would that look like? Are you still going to do trends on TikTok? Are you still going to be posting posts on Instagram? What does that actually look like? In the end, the biggest takeaway that I want you to have is this is your business. If your goals are bigger than your available time to prep for them, that's okay. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You also don't owe anybody a sorry when you come back from vacation. Most of you are solo entrepreneurs, which means you are doing this all on your own. So don't get stuck in the comparison mindset. Try to remember you are working on growing your creative mindset as well as your business, which means that nothing is fixed. And if you need help growing your creative mindset, make sure that you keep an eye out for next week's episode when I break down what a creative mindset actually is and give you 11 tips to help you improve this way of thinking. I hope that today's episode helped you prep for time off that you well deserve. And hopefully it doesn't make it so scary when it comes to actually taking time off. And like I said, I literally take time off all the time. A lot of you guys ask me, how do you work 3 to 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday? Or how do you work so little but look like you get so much done? It's because I have these systems in play and the templates that I mentioned to you earlier that allow me to create a well-rounded functioning business as a solo entrepreneur. So take these steps, take these questions, and then if you can't figure everything out, that's okay. Just take the time off anyways. Until next time, I will see you guys next week. Bye.